We have spent the past 3 weeks crisscrossing the country talking about our plan for families, for workers, for students, and for seniors. And we haven't shied away from highlighting some pretty stark policy differences. Because in this election, the stakes could not be higher. Canadians have a choice to make. This October, will we let Conservatives like Doug Ford and Andrew Scheer take us backwards? Or will we keep going and build on the progress we've made? Because let's face it, we've moved the dial a lot in just 4 short years. When Harper's Conservatives were in power, we had flat wage growth, flat job creation, flat economic growth, and quite frankly, flat ambition. People were falling behind. Families were struggling with the rising cost of living, and Conservative politicians were failing them, offering no plan for the future and no way out. So in 2015, people voted for change. They voted for a team that believed in investing in Canadians and growing the middle class. A team that thought helping people rather than cutting programs and services was the right course for Canadian prosperity. Malgré tous les progrès qu'on a réalisés,
all the progresses we've made, we know there's still a lot to do, and we must do more to help families. But I've never been so convinced that investing in people is the good thing to do. And this is what we can see from what we've done in 4 years. We created more than 1 million jobs in 4 years. Parents have more money in their pockets. And we've went through very important steps to protect our environment, and we got 900,000 people out of poverty, amongst them 300,000 kids. We obtained concrete results for Canadians, results that make a real difference in the life of people. We cannot go backward. And a vote for the Conservative is a vote to go back to the Harper years, to go back to an era where we were giving income tax breaks to the wealthiest and where we didn't care about environment, where the government was cutting on programs. Canadians know that the students here in Ontario have been victims of the Conservative.
Doug Ford said that not a single person would lose their job to pay for his massive cuts. Well, tell that to the 10,000 Ontario teachers who are losing their jobs. And now, Andrew Scheer is asking you to double down on Conservatives. That's twice the handouts for big polluters and the wealthy, and twice the cuts for you and your family. While Doug Ford focuses on buck a beer, there are grade 12 students that might not graduate this year because there aren't enough teachers to offer the courses they need. He cut Ontario's pharmacare program, and he scrapped Ontario's cap-and-trade program, which funded energy efficiency initiatives for homeowners, renters, and businesses. Think about that. Cuts to education, to healthcare, to environmental protection. We can't afford to double down on the Conservatives, not here in Mississauga, not across Ontario, not anywhere in Canada. So here's the Liberal pitch. We will make your life more affordable, and we will make our streets safer, and we will fight climate change. That is at the core of what we stand for as a party and as a movement. And we're staying focused on you, because the Conservatives certainly aren't. If they're elected, the Conservatives will change the tax system. Under a Conservative government, a person making $400,000 a year would benefit more than a person making $40,000 a year with their tax cuts. And if you use a business to create a tax shelter for millions of dollars, well, Andrew Scheer would let you save as much in taxes as the average Canadian earns in a year. That's not right. Canadians need, and Liberals believe in, tax fairness. So we're going to cut taxes, again, for the middle class and those working hard to join it, saving the average family almost $600 a year with nothing for the 1%. And along the way, we'll lift another 38,000 Canadians out of poverty. So while Andrew Scheer focuses on helping the wealthiest few, we'll stay focused on you. On va réduire les factures de téléphone cellulaire de
the cell phone bills in the next 2 years and establish a national system of paid days off and to ensure the security of law. We will give municipalities a power to forbid firearms if they want. We will forbid assault military arms because war weapons don't have their place in our communities.
In the fight against climate change, we've done more to protect our environment than any government in Canada's history, from introducing a world-leading oceans protection plan and putting a price on pollution, to phasing out coal and banning single-use plastics. But still, we have more to do. Young people like you are all driving the global movement for climate action. You're calling on your leaders to step up and actually lead. You're frustrated, and so am I. We have more to do, and we will. A re-elected Liberal government will go even further to protect our environment and fight climate change. Under our leadership, Canada will hit net zero emissions by the year 2050. It's an ambitious target, but I know we can get there, and in the process, we'll become world leaders in clean technology. We have the talent, we have the vision, and most importantly, we have the backing from Canadians who want a government that will wake up every day and drive climate action. Doug Ford, Jason Kenney, Andrew Scheer, ils appartiennent tous à une génération de politiciens
belong to a conservative generation for whom environment doesn't count. They're not interested, and they don't understand what's at stake. But us, we understand. In a few years, when my kids will ask me what I did for environment against climatic changes, I want to give them a straight answer. And this platform, Liberal, it's the plan to pursue and have our country progress, go forward. And there are a few issues in particular that I want to talk about. It's a section about education.
Education matters to young people across the country, of course. But it's especially top of mind here in Ontario as Doug Ford slashes education funding and makes it near impossible to pay for tuition. But in a rapidly changing global economy, education has never been more important. Because let's face it, people around the world are anxious about their futures. As workplaces reimagine to incorporate automation and AI, workers aren't sure where they fit in. You're nervous, and we hear you. Liberals believe in supporting people throughout their education journey. And during our 4 years in government, we walked the talk, especially when it comes to post-secondary. We increased student grants by 50%, We made it so that no new grad has to start repaying their loan until they're making at least $25,000. And we've changed the rules so people on EI can go back to school without losing their benefits. And of course, we cut interest rates on student loans. That's what we did over the past 4 years, but more needs to be done, especially now. You see, conservative provincial governments are trying to balance the budget on the backs of families and students, all while the cost of tuition keeps going up. When I visited colleges and universities across the country or hosted town halls across Canada, the cost of education and the debt that follows are always top of mind. We've all seen the news and heard the stories. More and more students are dropping out because they no longer have funding. Young people are forced to pick up second or third jobs to pay for textbooks or switch to part-time and extend their program by a few years. Young Canadians heading off to school should be excited about embarking on this new journey, but instead are losing sleep and racking their brains over how to pay for it. That's not okay. So our Liberal team is stepping up once again to help students. Today, I'm happy to announce that a re-elected Liberal government will further increase student grants by 40% under the old Harper. But let me tell you what that means. Under the old Harper Conservative government, the maximum Canada student grant was $2,000 a year. But today's announcement, when combined with previous Liberal increases, will bring the maximum Canada student grant to $4,200 a year. And we're doing even more to relieve the financial pressures facing grads. Under our plan, those who carry student loans will have a 2-year grace period following graduation, no payments and no interest. Young people just starting their careers should be focused on networking and interviews, so we're going to give you a bit of breathing room to do just that. But we're also going to let new parents hit the pause button on repayment when they have a baby, because in those important early years of starting a family, new parents should be focused on their kids, not on their loans. And finally, we're changing the rules again so that after the 2-year grace period, loan repayment won't start until new grads are making at least $35,000 a year.
In a world that evolves constantly and quickly, it's never been so important for youth to have studies. So education has to be more affordable. So while the Conservatives are cutting, you can count on a Liberal government to invest in education, because at the end, politics serves people. It's to serve you. And no matter what your situation is, you deserve a break for the future.
Canadians are faced with an important choice. Will we move backward, or will we stand together and choose forward? Here is our promise as Liberals. We won't give tax breaks to the 1% or big polluters, but we will make life more affordable and fight climate change. I'm for moving forward for our planet, for our students, for families, and for everyone. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Thank you very much, everyone.